fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress. So I'm going to be working on this painting. You are welcome to go grab whatever painting or other craft that you are working on and work alongside me while I chat. Or alternatively, you can just listen as if this was a podcast. Either way is great. It's all good. So I am going to be working today on this special canvas. I'm still working on my Alice canvas. I'm close to being done, but I frankly just didn't want to drag everything where I have it from my drafting table to have to bring it in here to where I film. So I elected to just work on this small painting. I do have another small painting that I'm also still working on, but I decided I was going to do this one as well. So I've apparently decided that I'm just going to have all kinds of things open these days. So I am just going to jump in. I have separated all of the special drills, and I'm going to be placing those first. I have my Pretty Placer crayon so that I can place the drills, the special drills with it. And then I will grab a pen for the rest of the drills if I get that far. I don't know if I'm going to get that far, so we'll see. So I am going to start with number 14, which is these big ones here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, although probably not as far as I usually do, so you guys can just kind of see what I'm doing. And since those are all there, I might flip this around so you guys can see. Okay. I don't have my timer because I was using it with Alice and I don't have time to get that done. So, you know, it's just going to stay out there for now. And I'm going to just make do with other stuff while I'm working on this. So, okay, so 14 is these right here. So I'm just going to pick these up with my Pretty Placer and then I'm going to put them in place. So today has been kind of a whirlwind. I am filming this much later than I would like, which seems to be the case with me lately. I don't know why. This week, we were busy. My oldest has been looking at apartments, and so we ended up going to look at one of them today, and it actually looks pretty nice, and she has decided to apply for it. But it just required some kind of running around on our part, meeting with the landlord and trying to work some things out, et cetera, et cetera. And so it just took longer than we anticipated. And so now I'm kind of running behind for everything else, which is, you know, how it goes. So there's that. All right, now I'm going to do number 13, which is these symbols right here. So I've got them here and here. Do I have them anywhere else? It doesn't look like it. Okay. So that was what we were doing this morning. Got up early and went and got our groceries. Man, everything has been an adventure lately. So last week we got our groceries. I told you guys we were doing the food delivery service, the meal delivery service. And one of the meals that we had was some gnocchi with, I want to say like a red pepper pesto or something. I don't know what the sauce was, but it was good. And so we decided, hey, we're going to try and make that ourselves. So we ordered some gnocchi with our grocery order. Went last week, picked up our groceries, get home, unloading groceries, and they have given us a package of gnocchi that literally expired in June of 2021. I don't even know how this managed to stay on the shelves because I would assume that most grocery stores do a periodic inventory, you know, to make sure, or at least the vendors of whatever that item is do an inventory to make sure that, you know, old stuff is getting pulled off the shelves, especially that expired. I mean, that was just crazy to me. You know, a month or so expired, then I can kind of see it. Milk that's going to expire in a couple of days or something, then okay. But over 6 months expired, that's crazy to me. So my husband ended up sending them an email and taking a picture of it and being like, this is what we got. So, of course, they apologized profusely, gave us a credit, blah, 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 which, you know, whatever. So there was that. And then continuing our food issues, we had a big snowstorm here this week. I mean, it's not like the biggest snowstorm ever, but it was a lot of snow, more snow than we've had recently. And it was very cold. And because of the snow and all of the issues, our home delivery meal services did not get delivered on the day that they were supposed to. And so my husband just sent them an email to say, okay, we didn't get this. How many days is it still good? Because we assumed that, you know, they would just deliver it the next day. Well, I know the meat is packaged and it has like a little freezer pack with it, and it was cold, so I figured the meat would probably be fine. But it comes with, you know, vegetables and things that are perishable. And so we just said, you know, we didn't get it. How is it still going to be good when it gets here? And the food service place just said, yeah, it's only good for a couple of days. So if you haven't got it, they just gave us a credit for that week's meals and said, you know, we'll just give you a credit. We don't know when it's going to show up, but here's a credit for the meals that you paid for because they probably won't be any good by the time they get to you. So they showed up 2 days later, and my husband went through everything, and the meat was still frozen, so it was fine. But all the vegetables were also frozen. So there were like some sauce packets and some spices and things that he kept, but basically all of the perishable stuff got thrown away because it was all frozen solid. So yeah, food has been interesting because, of course, we had all the crazy weather. So I'm going to move this a little bit so you can see. I'm doing number 12, which is these flower petals here. There's one there, and then I have this side and that one. And then when I get to number 11, 11 is going to be here, and there's a couple in the body. And then number 10, I'm going to be down in the section, so I will see if I need to move the camera at that point. But so yeah, food has been interesting at my house. And so then we, you know, today after my or this weekend after my husband got groceries, you know, we had a bunch of running around to do. We went and looked at this apartment for my daughter, and she's probably going to take it. And man, we looked at some places. It was like, whoo, we just drove up and I was like, yeah, no, you're not living here. So there were some pretty rough apartments that we were looking at. And she actually was kind of holding out because her friends, they live in another town, but they live in a house, and they have like a mother-in-law apartment / house in the back of where they live that they know is going to be coming up for rent. And so she was kind of holding out, waiting to see if she could move in where they are, because then they would all be close together and all that kind of stuff. But she really liked this other place, and so now we get to see what she thinks, how she's going to do. You know, as a mom, I worry, of course, because she's not going to be at home. She's plenty old enough to be out on her own, but I worry that she likes her job. I just don't think that it pays her the money that she needs to be making to live the way she wants to live. But she's young, so my husband and I figure we'll let her move out and figure that out. And, we'll see what happens. So she sat down today and was trying to make a budget and figure out, some of the things are paid by the landlord. So what she was going to have left to pay, that would be her responsibility. And, trying to estimate what we thought those bills would be so she could make a budget and all that kind of stuff. So still have some running around to do because we did all of that, but then we usually do a grocery run to Target for like household goods, and we didn't get that done today because we were doing this other thing, and so that still needs to happen at some point. So okay, so number 11 is these green, oh, it's these cute gold ones that I've never, okay, so those go here, and there's a couple there. Oh, and then they're on these flowers here. Oh, and they're up here at the top. So, okay. So there's quite a few of these. So let me just make sure I've got room for everything. Let me just double check and make sure that you guys can see everything that I'm doing. Oh yeah, I think you can see most of it. I'm not as zoomed in as I normally am, but I think that's better in this situation. Just because it's such a small painting, you can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit better, even though I'm not zoomed in quite as close. I am very close to being done with Alice. I have like 2 rows left, 2 rows and a little bit. It's actually gone way faster than I thought. I wanted to get her done this weekend. Probably not going to happen, but I've already done it much faster than I thought I would. So I'm happy about that. And it's a really cute painting. So even though I wish I could do it a little bit faster. Now I will say that is going to put me, for my Big 10, I opened my Dreamer Designs and kitted it up so that I could start on that one. It is bigger than Alice. It is a round, but it is bigger than Alice. So I don't know how long that one's going to take me. I mean, ideally, I'd like to be done by the end of February because March starts the Chuck-along. But I may just have to bite the bullet and have 2 paintings going at once and start my Chuck-along and be doing the Dreamer Designs. And or I may, for the Chuck-along, just decide to, pause the Dreamer Designs while I do the Chuck Pinson that I've picked out, which is also coming out of my stash, so that's good. But it is a Diamond Art Club, so it isn't going to count for my Big 10. It will count for my event, or one of my events. So I'm on track for that. Hopefully this extra work that I've been doing for Alice will kind of catch me up as far as hours go. But also February is a short month, so since it only has 28 days, there's like 3 days that I would normally get in a month, 2 or 3 days that I'm not going to get because February is short. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Where do I want to turn this now? I think I'm just going to turn this right side up, really. It's upside down right now. And then I'm going to make sure I place it where you guys can see, because I'm going to do the bottom half. So I've got all these here that I need to place, and on this one, and a couple here. And then I will work on these, which will be the next kind of special drill to do. And then I should only have one special drill left, and then I can move into the regular rhinestones. So part of me also wants to just finish up some of these specials and just get them done so I can count them as finishes. But I feel like I have too many paintings going at once. I watch some of these diamond painters, who have are kitting up 5 or 6 paintings at once. I don't know that I could do that. I don't know that my brain would let me do that. I think my type A personality it would drive me crazy to have that many of them open at once. But sometimes I wish I could. I think sometimes it would be easier if I could have, multiple things open at once that I could be working on. And then I say that, and then, half the time when I have something open, like I'm working on the Alice right now, I want to finish Alice before I start something else because my brain is like, you need to finish that one before you open up another project. Which doesn't matter. They're all eventually going to get done. No, but just, I don't know. I think that's one of the things, that I learned as a kid. If you're done playing with that toy, then you pick it up and put it away before you drag something else out. So I don't do well in chaos. I think that's one of the reasons, like I said before, that diamond painting appeals to me is because it's kind of making order out of all the chaos. We take these big piles of drills and then kind of turn them into this organized, pretty picture. So, anywho, so the weather has made it fun this week. I went back to work on Monday, and then we had a birthday that day. And then when I went to work on Wednesday, I was going to bring in treats for the kids. And we were expecting that big storm. And so I thought, well, maybe I don't want to do that because, we may not have school. And then I've bought all these for nothing. And is that what I want to do? And so I ended up just thinking to myself, okay, I'm just going to buy them. Because if I buy them, then odds are we won't have school. If I don't buy them, assuming that we won't have school, then we won't get the weather that they're saying that we will, and we'll have school. So I bought the cookies. We did end up getting all of the snow, and school got canceled, so we did not have school. So my kids ate the cookies, my actual children, not my preschool children. So that was fine. So we didn't have school on Wednesday. And then we got all of the snow and everything that they said. And while it wasn't a lot of snow, it actually rained beforehand. So we had ice underneath it, which is always the issue. And then, so they had canceled school on Wednesday. And then they ended up also canceling school on Thursday, not because of the snow, but because it was super cold. And I live rurally, and so a lot of the schools around us are rural. And even the larger school districts also canceled school because you have, these kids standing around in minus whatever wind chill weather, and the chances of frostbite are really high. And we all know that lots of kids just either don't have what they need for that kind of weather or they don't wear it when they should. And so because the frostbite risk was so high, they ended up canceling school on Thursday. And Thursday afternoon rolled around, and Thursday afternoon rolled around, and I got an email from work saying that they were also going to be canceling school on Friday because the church where our preschool is has been having all kinds of plumbing issues. And so they had been replacing some faucets and things in our room, and they decided they were also going to replace the toilets. And so, of course, we can't operate if we don't have running water because they were going to have to shut the water off, of course, while they did all of that. So our director just decided, okay, we just won't have school today either because we can't. So we weren't going to have school on Friday either. And in the midst of that, we got the information that the school district was going to be closed on Friday anyway. And our preschool, because we have so many children who, they have siblings in the public schools, that we follow the public schools calendar. So if the public school closes, our preschool closes as well. So it ended up kind of being a non-issue because we wouldn't have had school anyway because the district was closed. However, in talking to the director, I was like, why did they cancel school? Because it wasn't supposed to be super cold. And it was because the roads were still so bad. And, side roads are, like roads, residential roads are always bad. I actually went into work on Friday afternoon to do some things. And while some of the roads still had some snowpack and slush, they weren't terrible, but they weren't great. Anyway, so Thursday afternoon, we had been told that most of the school districts would not be having school, including the school district where we live, which was surprising because the school district where we live almost never closes. And so they were going to be closed 3 days in a row, which is unheard of. I mean, I can't remember the last time that schools were closed that many days in a row for weather. And so we were talking about it, and so pretty much most of the districts around us had closed, except for the one where my daughter works. And I just thought it was odd because, literally almost every single other school district was also going to be closed on Friday. And she's like, no, we got an email from the superintendent. A lot of schools, they have, especially schools that have kids who are, getting lunches, that's the only food that they get, especially over a weekend, is the meals that they get at school. And he really wanted to be open, which I completely understand. That being said, the roads were not that great. And so I was just surprised. And so, of course, she's, grumbling because she has to get up and get ready and go to work while everybody else is closed. And I heard her get up Friday morning, and I was going to, go tell her, be careful. Her car hadn't been cleaned off in a couple of days because she'd been off work. And before I could even get all of that out, she got an email. The superintendent had gone out that morning first thing to kind of drive around and, check the roads and the weather and everything. And after driving on the roads, had decided, maybe it would be better if we didn't have school today. So they ended up canceling on Friday as well. So she texted me and was like, school's canceled. I'm going back to bed. So Friday was a little crazy. But by the weekend, things had started melting and it was all looking much better. So hopefully everything will be back to normal as we go back to school on Monday. Okay, so I think that is all of the special drills for this particular kit. So now I can open the regular rhinestones and see what I need to do. So let me start here. Let's see. Do I just want to pick a color and start? I think I'm going to pick whatever this color is. Oh, that happens to be number 8. So good for me. I can just pick off the next color and open it, and away I go. Get some of these flowers done first. Okay. Does my pen have wax in it? Yes, it does. Okay. So I'm going to do number 8 first because that is all of these. So anyway, it's been a really interesting week with all the kind of crazy weather and all the cancellations and everything. I did go into work Friday afternoon. The plumbers had been in and gone, so it was kind of weird to see brand new fixtures in our bathrooms because that hasn't happened in the 5+ years that I've worked there. So the kids will be amazed when they come in on Monday. We are That's one of the reasons it's also been kind of a big cluster that we've not been having school. We are in the process of doing all of our assessment testing because we have parent-teacher conferences coming up at the end of this month, and we need to get all of our assessment testing done so that we have all of our paperwork ready to go for parent-teacher conferences. And so now we've missed 3 days of school that we could have been doing our assessment testing. So, and we'll get everything done. It's not that big of a deal, but it just, some of our teachers are a little stressed thinking that, oh, we're not going to have time to get everything done. And it's like, no, it'll all be good. So, just a crazy time of year, I guess. So, okay, let's see. I got that symbol right here. So let me do those. You guys, we were talking yesterday, or if you haven't seen the video from yesterday, I did an unboxing, and one of the items that I unboxed was an old, well, I don't know how old it is, but it was a picture that reminded me of the old spirographs. And I told my husband it was kind of funny how many of the subscribers were like, oh, I remember that. I actually have a spirograph. I had one when I was a kid and I loved it. And I got it for a birthday a couple of years ago. My kids thought it would be funny and thought it would be kind of a gag gift. Well, joke's on them because I loved it. Now, I will say, as an adult, it was much more frustrating trying to get it. When you're a kid, you're just like, ooh, let me take this circle and make this cool thing. And as an adult, I'm like, I want it to look like this. And then, stuff would jerk and move and it would get messed up and I would get frustrated. So, but I still have it. I played a lot of games when I was a kid. I still do. I love games, board games, card games, role-playing games. If it's a game, pretty much, I probably either have played it, will play it, would love it. My son was making fun of me because I love games, and also as an English teacher, I love words. So word games are a big thing for me. I love word games. So I do a lot of crossword puzzles and other word games. I have word games on my iPad that I play every day, et cetera, et cetera. And I happened to be on the internet the other day and somebody mentioned a game called Wordle. I don't know how long this game's been around. Don't know when it got really popular. Just know that I saw something about it on the internet. And so I went to go check it out because it's a word game. So I went to go check it out, and I don't know exactly who invented it. It is a UK website. And from what little I remember that I read, it was like some computer people who were bored and came up with it to have something to kind of do between themselves. It is a word game where you get 6 guesses to guess a 5-letter word. And in those 6 guesses, like, you guess the first time and it will tell you based on the color whether the word the word that you put in, whether each letter is in the puzzle, not in the puzzle, and if it is in the puzzle, if where you place it is in the correct spot, or if it is in the puzzle but goes somewhere else. So, and it does it with colors. So if the word or the letter is gray, then that letter is not used in the puzzle. If it is yellow, then it is in the puzzle but not in the spot where you placed it. And if it is green, it is in the puzzle and in that spot. So, and you can only get one word every 24 hours. I don't know if it's every 24 or every 18, but something like, so it works out to basically like once a day that you get a new word. And I've been playing it and I think it's great. My son thinks I'm ridiculous, but I love word games. And I don't know, the fact that you only get one every so often actually makes it more kind of appealing. Like I play a lot of games where you get like daily challenges type stuff, so I like those. It's the same sort of thing. And, they say that helps to ward off Alzheimer's, that anything that you do like that, kind of keeps your brain going. And I figure I'm old enough at this point that I probably should, you know, doesn't hurt to keep my brain active, right? So I've been playing that and it's been super fun. Although my husband was telling me, I was talking to him today and telling him about it because my son was making fun of me for playing it. And my husband said that he read that the New York Times has bought it. So who knows whether, because right now it's free to play, you just log into the website. But, I'm assuming if New York Times bought it, it's probably going to end up going behind a paywall, which means I won't be doing it. So, or it'll have ads in it, which I don't know. I might still play it if it has ads in it, but we'll see. Some games I like enough to play if they have ads in them, and I just kind of ignore them. Some games, it's not worth it to me to put up with the ads. I will say that has been nice. My husband signed up for Apple Music and then decided that he also wanted to get Apple TV. So because we already had Apple Music and then he signed up for Apple TV, we also get Apple Arcade included in that. So I have gone out and got a couple of Apple Arcade games because we pay for that. They are ad-free, which is actually kind of nice. I will a lot of times cheat. I have some solitaire games that I really like to play, but they're not ad-free. So I will put my iPad in airplane mode, or I will disconnect from the Wi-Fi and play it so I can play it without the ads. That doesn't always work, but it works with this game that I have, so I do that a lot. So, whoops, didn't get a drill that time, did I? So, anyway, my son was making fun of me, but I had a good time. I did go into work this weekend and spent a couple of hours with the two people who are going to be taking over my job and kind of showed them how to do the weekend stuff and how to get ready for the next week. So, and of course, because it was the two of them and not just one of me, it actually went faster. So that was nice. And then they actually had some really good questions for me at the end after we were done. We kind of sat down and just kind of had a little Q&A session, and they were asking me things about, you know, what it will look like and just kind of what they envision it being and, what can they do, what can't they do, that kind of stuff. They had some really good questions, and I think they'll be really good at it. I'm excited for them. They are very excited, very energetic, and I think they'll do a good job. While I love my job, freely admit, I am burnt out. I have, not that I have worked too hard, just that this job ended up being way more labor intensive than I kind of thought it would be. And so it's just been very stressful. And I knew that it was going to be stressful when I took it. So it wasn't that I was expecting it to be stress free, but I just wasn't expecting it to be as stressful as it has been. So, and I mean, I don't regret that. Part of the reason that I took the job and part of the reason that the job was created was to, take some of the stress off of our teachers because our teachers were getting very burnt out with the events of the last couple of years. Things have just all been kind of crazy, and it's just been very stressful. And so, for that, I don't regret doing it. And I've, enjoyed it. It's not that I haven't enjoyed it, but I'm ready to move on to the next thing and try something else. I don't know what that something else is yet. I don't know if that something else is in Canada, and I don't do anything else kind of really until we move up there. I think the plan for me is going to be that if we are still here, because we don't know how long our application to move up there will take, if we are still here when school starts next year, that I will be a sub for the school so that I will still, you know, be at work occasionally and still have some money coming in, but I will not be working, you know, regular hours. So, and I'm okay with that. Okay, let's see. Did I get all of that color kind of down here in the bottom half? I think I did. Oh, nope, I missed two right there. See, that's why you always go back and look again, because I always miss something. Okay, now let me look again and make sure I didn't miss any of those somewhere else. Okay, nope, I think I've got all those. Okay, so now I can rotate this again and put all these on this half. So let me make sure that you can see this. Okay, I think everything is in frame for this. Okay. And then, let's see, after I get done with this color, I may call that good. We'll see how long it takes me to do this color. So I did get the storage mailed out for those people who won the storage giveaway. So those should be on their way. At some point, I'm probably going to do another one, but I keep thinking, you know, I'll wait a little bit and shipping will kind of settle down, but who knows if that's true. That could just be pie in the sky thinking. So I think I'll wait a few more weeks and then I'll kind of see where things stand. And I'll make a decision at that point, kind of what I'm going to do, if I'm going to wait some more or what. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep working on my goals. Like I said, I'm almost done with the Alice canvas. So once I finish that one, that will be one that I can mark off my stash. When March rolls around, I will be doing the Chuck Pinson, so that will be another one that I can mark out of my stash. I will also be working on the Dreamer Designs, so that can be marked out of my stash. However, I am also still doing unboxings of items that people send to me. So some of those I won't keep, but some of them I will. In fact, that's what this one is. So unfortunately, I'm adding to my stash. Good in that I'm not spending money out of my budget, but bad in that my stash is going the wrong way. So I think that's why part of my anxiety about trying to get some of these done and out of the way so that I'm not constantly adding to the stash. So I do want to try and get some more random acts of kindness sent out. If you haven't signed up for a random act of kindness, you are welcome to do so. All of my videos have a link in the description box, including this one, that says you can sign up here if you want to receive some happy mail. And the link takes you to a Google form that you fill out with your mailing address. And basically it dumps all of you into a big spreadsheet for me, and I just go down the list in order that everyone signed up. I think I am either through or very close to being through November, people who signed up in November of last year. And then I will start working my way through December. And then once all Decembers have been mailed out, I will start working on people who signed up in January of this year. So I am keeping track of the number of random acts of kindness that I'm mailing out, although I can't tell you off the top of my head what that number is currently. I know I've sent out at least 10 and maybe 15 to 20, but I'm not sure about that. So, but I am keeping track of that. I have been able to add several states, so thank you for that. I still am short. Let's see, what states do I not have someone from? Rhode Island, I think, is one. North Dakota, I did finally get someone from South Dakota. Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Oklahoma. So if you're in Oklahoma and you would like a random act of kindness, please sign up. I think there's a couple more on the East Coast, but I can't remember off the top of my head, other than I think Rhode Island is one. I can't remember what some of the other ones were. Maybe DC, maybe. Um, so I will be sharing an updated map when I get that. Um, I'm still adding countries, but there are still tons of countries that have not signed up, and I do still send out random acts of kindness to those of you who are international. They tend to be mostly paper things, stickers and decals and the like, because those are easier to mail. I can just simply mail those in an international first class envelope, and so you still get a little bit of something without it breaking the bank. So yeah, so I'm still working on both of those maps and trying to fill them all out. So probably when I do my next stash update, I will also update the maps and kind of talk about those. If you missed it, I don't know if it was the last video or a couple of videos ago, I did mention that I have put out a printable PDF that you can download and print out. That is all of the DMC numbers. If you use a storage system like I do with the bags and the dividers to keep your drills separate, you can print those out and use those as stickers for all of the various DMC numbers. I am still in the process of trying to figure out what I want to do for mine. I did order my new bags, and I have my dividers that I want to use. I have one storage box, but I actually need two, and I'm kind of waiting to see if I can I bought two that were the same size, but then one of them didn't make it through the crafting process. So now I have to see if I can find another one that is a similar size, or if I need to buy two new ones. So, and I was going to go out and do that this weekend, and time got away from me and I didn't get it done. So probably another week, or at least later in this week, before I have time to do that again. So we'll see. It requires a trip into the big city near us, and I just some days I'm just not into peopling that much. So we were going to go in on Friday, go into town, and I just ended up deciding, you know what, I just don't want to do that right now. So, and now I'm regretting it because I probably should have, because now it's not going to get done, and oh well, that's life, right? It's not like it's going anywhere. The store will still be there when I finally decide to go. Or I may just decide to bite the bullet and order the ones on Amazon that I've had my eye on anyway. But we'll see. So I think I need to load this pen with some more wax, and I don't think I have any close at hand. So I'm going to try and finish this flower here, and then I think I'm going to call that good for my WIP and chat this week. So, because once again, I've waited until the last minute to film it, which means YouTube is going to be a complete pain in the you-know-what when I try to upload it, because that's just how it works. So, okay. So, let me turn this right side up and zoom out a little bit so you guys can see it a tad better. Okay. So, I made some good progress on it. I'm almost done with this color. I've got the little antenna to do in that color, and I've got this section over here to fill out like this on this side, And then I'm done with that color, and then I'm down to the last 7 colors. So I made some good progress today. I'm happy with that. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the whip and chat. If you were working along on something, I hope you made some good progress on your project as well. As always, guys, thanks so much. And don't forget to do all the things before you leave. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. See you next time, guys.